Hi students, today we are going to do lesson 6.6. Please go ahead and get your big math workbook and turn to page 233 so you're able to follow along with the problems that I do. So please go ahead and pause this video until you have that worksheet. Okay, now that you're ready to go, today we are going to practice making arrays to represent division problems. So for number 1, we're thinking how many rows of 3 are in 18? Okay, now remember that rows are across, okay? So rows go across, just like a straight line across, and columns go up and down. So today we're working with rows, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just type down rows here so that way we know which way rows go. They go across, okay? And when we make an array, we did arrays and multiplication when we were learning that. When we do arrays, we do rows and columns. So if I wanted to make an array of, let's say I want to do 6 rows of 2. I would do 1, 2, there's my first row of 2, second row of 2, third row of 2, fourth row of 2, fifth row of 2, and sixth row of 2. Okay, that's not the best array because it's a little bit hard to do that on the computer, but that is what an array is. So that's 6 rows of 2. So we're going to do this with multiplication today, and we're going to figure out how many rows of 3 are in 18. So this is actually going to be kind of reverse. So this is our division problem. So in order to do this, I'm going to use this website that I just found, and it's going to help me make arrays. Okay, you can just go ahead and make X's on your paper like I did here, okay, or circles. All right, so how many rows of 3 are in 18? I'm doing problem 1. To figure this out, I'm going to make rows of 3 until I get to 18, just kind of like we did with equal groups last week. So I'm going to make rows of 3 until I get to 18. So there's 1 row of 3, 2 rows of 3, which equals 6, 3 rows of 3, which equals 9. Remember, I'm going all the way to 18. There's 4 rows of 3, which equals 12. 5 rows of 3, which is 15. All right, there's 6 rows of 3, which equals 18. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. Let me see if I can circle them here. No, I cannot. But I have 6 rows of 3. So 1 row, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of 3 equals 18. So that means that there was 6 rows of 3. So the question asked, how many rows of 3 are in 18? There's 6 rows of 3. Or I can just write 6 rows. Okay, so you can go ahead and write that down on your paper. Number 2 says, how many rows of 6 are in 12? How many rows of 6 are in 12? Well, to figure this out, I'd have to make rows of 6 until I get to 12. So rows of 6 until I get to 12. I'm going to use the orange one this time. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 1 row of 6. Remember, I want to get to 12. And there are 2 rows of 6, which equals 12. So I only needed 2 rows of 6. So 2 rows is the answer. It says how many rows of 6 are in 12? Well, there are 2 rows. The next one is how many rows of 7 are in 21? How many rows of 7 are in 21? So I'm going to have to clear this and make rows of 7 until I get to 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 1 row of 7. Remember, I'm making rows of 7 until I get to 21. There's 2 rows of 7, which equals 14. So I'm still not there yet to 21. 21. Okay, there's 3 rows of 7, which equals 21, right? I have 1 row of 7, 2 rows of 7, and 3 rows of 7. So I need 3 rows of 7 in order to get to 21. So 3 rows is the answer. All right, what I want you to do now is do number 4 on your own. It says how many rows of 8 are in 32? So you're going to have to do this problem by putting rows on your paper. You can do X's like I did here, or you can do circles. Okay, so you're gonna do rows of 8 until you get to 32. So go ahead and pause this video until you are finished, so that way we can check the answer together. All right, so hopefully you have an answer now. It says how many rows of 8 are in 32? So I'm going to make rows of 8 until I get to 32. So 1, oops. I did not mean to do that. I don't know how that happened. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 1 row of 8. Okay, there's 2 rows of 8, which equals 16. I'm still not to 32 yet. Okay, there are 3 rows of 8, which equals 24. All right, there's 4 rows of 8, which equals 32. Perfect. So I have 4 rows of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 rows of 8. So 4 rows is my answer. Hopefully you got 4 rows as well. All right, now it says make an array, then write a division equation. So for number 5, it says 25 tiles in 5 rows. So this is just backwards. So now we have to do 25 tiles in 5 rows. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and erase this. All right. So before we go ahead and do this, though, I'm going to have you take a little brain break. I would like for you to go and do 12 push-ups, 15 jumping jacks, and let's see, 18 sit-ups. So I think I said 12 push-ups, 15 jumping jacks, and 18 sit-ups. So go ahead and do that now, and you can go ahead and pause this video until you are done. Have fun. All right, so hopefully you are ready to go on to problem 5. We're only going to do a couple more problems together, and then you will go ahead and do a seesaw assignment. Okay, so 25 tiles and 5 rows. Before we do an array, we need to write a division problem for this. So we have 25 tiles in all, divided up into 5 rows. So if we're doing a division problem for this, it would be 25 divided by 5, because we have 25 tiles in all divided by 5 rows. Okay, so 25 divided, and to do a division symbol on a computer, you do a slash. So that slash means the same thing as divided by 5 equals, and we don't know yet. So I do not want you to actually write the slash. That's just when we use laptops. That's what we do since there's no division key on a laptop. Okay, so write the actual symbol. So actually, I'll just do that as well. So that way it can be the same for you guys as well. So like this. All right, so 25 divided by 5. If we have 25 divided by 5 equals blank, I know that 5 times this number equals 25. So 5 times what equals 25? 5 times what equals 25? If you are thinking 5, then you're correct. That would be correct, okay? So that means that we have to make an array with 25 objects in all, divided into 5 rows, and that's going to be 5 in each row. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, I have 5 rows of 5 that I'm doing. This is just another way of doing the division problem and figuring it out. So there's 3 rows of 5. I need 2 more rows. Oops. I did not mean to do that. All right, there's 5 rows of 5. That equals 25. So 1 row, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals 25. So this is the array that goes with the problem of 25 divided by 5 equals 5. So 25 divided by 5 equals 5. All right, let's go ahead and do the next problem. It says 14 tiles in 2 rows. Well, I have 14 tiles divided into 2 rows, so I have to figure out how many are going to be in each row. Okay, so 14 tiles divided up into 2 rows. So that problem, that division problem, is going to be what? What do you think it will be? If you are thinking 14 divided by 2, then you are correct. It should be 14 divided by 2 equals, and then what does it equal? Well, I know that 2 times this number will equal 14. So what times 2 equals 14? If you're thinking 7, then you're correct. So I need to make an array with 14 tiles in 2 rows of 7. So I need 2 rows of 7 because that's going to equal 14. So 2 rows 2 rows of 7. There's 1 row of 7. All right, there's 2 rows of 7. So this array goes along with the problem of 14 divided by 2 equals 7, because I have 14 in all, divided up into 2 rows and 7 in each row. Okay, let's do one more problem together. And let's go ahead and do 28 tiles in 4 rows. First, we need to come up with the division problem. Well, I have 28 objects in all. That's always my first number. Divided by how many rows do I have? If you're thinking 4 rows, then you're correct. So 28 divided by 4 equals, so what times 4? 4 times what equals 28? 4 times what equals 28? If you're thinking 7, you are correct. So we need 4 rows of 7 to make 28. We're pretty much just doing backwards multiplication. So 4 rows of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 1 row of 7. There's 2 rows of 7. That equals 14. There's 3 rows of 7, which equals 21. And 4 rows of 7, which equals 28. So this goes along with 28 objects divided up into 4 rows equals 7 in each row. So 28 divided by 4 equals 7. All right, so that's going to be it for today. Now you have a seesaw assignment that I want you to do on your own, so that way we can see how well you understand this math lesson. And if you need to rewatch some parts of this video to help you understand it a little bit better, you can always do that, okay? So I will talk to you guys later. Bye!